solve by completing the square. We're going to look at x squared minus 5x plus 6 equals 0. This one is very easy to solve by factoring or by the quadratic formula, but I want to show you an easy one to introduce the method of completing the square. So here are the steps over here. Okay, so if a is not 1, we make it 1. Well, notice a is 1. Okay, then we move the constant to the right-hand side. So this 6 will be moved over. So x squared minus 5x equals negative 6. Now we're going to actually do the work of completing the square. We're going to take half of this b term, if this is ax squared plus bx plus c now. Take half of this term, so that's 1/2 times negative 5 over 1. That's negative 5 halves. Okay, I'm doing this on the side of my paper just as scratch work. That's part A. Then part B says square it and add it to both sides. So I have x squared minus 5x plus. Notice this hint. We leave it as 1/2 times that term squared. So leave it as negative 5 halves squared. So this is negative 6 plus negative 5 halves squared. Notice I've added the same term to both sides, so it's still the same equation. Now we're going to do the next part of completing the square. If I want to try to factor this one isn't as obvious because there's this fraction here. So if I look at this guy and I look at this guy, those are going to be key in helping me factor. I'm going to rewrite this as x, take this first thing that's being squared, and look at the next thing that's being squared in the back, and I'm going to rewrite it. So this is x, using this sign, minus 5 halves all squared. Now you may not believe me, but this is equivalent. This trinomial is equivalent to this binomial squared. Let's check it. X minus 5 halves squared. Well, if you have a minus b squared, that's a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. So this is the first term squared, which is a squared, so it's x squared minus 2 times x times 5 halves plus my last term squared. 5 halves squared. Actually, it's negative 5 halves squared because this negative sign comes from the b. So this is like negative b all squared, which is positive b squared. Okay, so this is x squared. Notice this 2 on top and this 2 on bottom cancel, so minus 5x plus negative 5 halves squared. And notice that negative 5 halves squared is the same as positive 5 halves squared, so that part doesn't really matter. Okay, so we see that they're the same thing. So this is negative 6 plus, if I square the top, I get 25. If I square the bottom, I get 4. So I have x minus 5 halves squared equals, I need a common denominator. This is like 6 over 1. So if I make the common denominator, I'll need a 4. So this is negative 24 over 4 is 6. So I have x minus 5 halves squared equals negative 6. I'm sorry, whoa, don't want to do that. Now I have a common denominator, so that's negative 24 plus 25 is 1/4. There we go. I'm going to scroll down. I want x by itself. X is trapped in here with a squared, so I have to take the root of both sides. So I want to take the square root of both sides. When I do so, to the right-hand side, I have to take a plus or minus. So if I take a square root of something squared, they cancel each other, so I'm left with x minus 5 halves equals plus or minus the square root of 1 over 4. Well, we know the square root of a over b is the square root of a times the square root of b. So the square root of 1 over 4 is the same as the square root of 1 over the square root of 4. So I have x minus 5 halves equals plus or minus square root of 1, which is 1. Square root of 4 is 2. So I have x equals, I'm going to add 5 halves to both sides. So 5 halves plus or minus 1/2. X equals 5 halves plus 1/2, or x equals 5 halves minus 1/2. X equals 6 halves, which is 3. And this one is x equal 4/2, which is 2. That's how you do it with completing the square.